Australia is gearing up for the World Test Championship final. It starts in a day and they will battle South Africa for the top prize in Test cricket. But just not in the manner they would have liked to. They encountered a bit of a snag over the weekend. Aussie players were stopped from entering the Lords to train, and that created quite a furore, leading to a logistical nightmare. So what exactly happened? Australia cricket team reached the Lords cricket ground on Saturday to train, and rightfully so. One, they were going to play the WTC final there and start in 11th, so just a few days left for the match time, and two, the final was scheduled to take place at the Lords. So why were they stopped? The Indian team was supposedly training at the venue. So Aussie players were prevented from entering and were asked to figure out an alternate option. Little too late for that, so you can imagine how disgruntled the Aussie team would have been with this sudden change in plans, because of which they had to travel 3 hours out searching for an alternate ground to train in that day. India, remember, is also in England, the men's cricket squad. They are training for a series that begins on the 20th of this month against England. Needless to say, and right on cue, along predictable lines, Aussie media took this golden opportunity to target India for Australia being booted out, that India were permitted to train at Lords at the expense of the Australian team. Those are the exact words. The Australian media doesn't need much of a nudge anyway. They are forever ready to take aim at India at the slightest given chance, and this was it. They went to town, citing India using its clout to get its way and a training session and forcing Australia out, despite Australia having their big WTC final in just some days at Lords. India does have clout, no denying that, but trust them to not look at the real issue here, that the authorities responsible to decide practice schedules messed up. There was clearly an error in miscommunication, which was England's prerogative to resolve, and probably one that shouldn't have occurred in the first place. That India had no hand in denying Australia their training session. They were just bothered about their own. They were given the slot and they took it. It was that simple. The venue authorities are the ones who should be held responsible for this muck-up and an inconvenience that occurred in the first place. And they did make amends though, as Australia managed to get that training session a day later on Sunday. Their captain Pat Cummins though did not let this one slide without taking a jibe at England.
I think this is the best version of the stadium this morning. There's no one around, which is great. I'm sure it will be much more civil this time around. Things got pretty heated in the middle of that Ashes series, but I think a lot of them will have learned their lesson, and I'm sure they'll be very polite.
Now, Cummins isn't one to quiet down, nor will he let a taunt go without a suitable retort. He is a true blue Aussie lad who loves to give it back and in equal measure, and never hesitates from indulging in a healthy dose of war of words. Like when Australia took on India in the 2023 ODI World Cup final in Ahmedabad, he knew the Aussies were going to be playing in front of a packed partisan crowd. They won't be cheered, they won't be encouraged, and it'll be a cauldron of heat directed towards them. Yet he took everyone on, saying Australia will silence the crowd on the night, and they did. Cummins says Australia knows how to give it back, and more so when it's England at the other end. The last Ashes of 2023, where Australia toured England, resulted in a massive clash between members of the MCC and the Aussie players in the long room, after that controversial Johnny Bairstow dismissal in the second test, the one that Australia won. A matter that spilled over between the primary heads of state too, of the two countries back then. But Australia has a WTC final on its hands, so maybe the team and the Aussie media needs to focus its energies there, where the opponent is not England and nor is it India.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
Stands at $36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
geschäftsführenden Direktoren,
Hindi,
$30 trillion का कर्ज हो
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Sekali radikali. Stop.
Japanese,
4兆ドル以上も
Portuguese,
por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select the language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.